Hello everyone, my name is Danish Buns, and welcome to this episode of a Noob's Review. This is the gaming show where I bring you relatively unknown games or new releases and try and provide some background information on their actual functionality, as well as my overall opinion. Today I am excited to bring you a new free-to-play first-person shooter known as Bullet Run, which recently became available on Steam. Now, I'd like to talk about the game mechanics real quick. The game takes place in the future where humanity has become addicted to the sport of 21st century combat. With the use of synthetic humans, teams battle each other in several different objective-type matches in order to earn the most money to fund their athlete. After building your athlete, the player is then given a standard set of weapons and has to earn money from winning games in order to continue to develop their synthetic and purchase more weapons and skill upgrades. There's a fairly wide selection of weaponry in this game, ranging from assault rifles to SMGs, as well as several additional sidearms and explosive devices. On top of that, you are also given a wide variety of skill upgrades, each of which is very similar to kill streaks from Call of Duty, which allows a player to drop a defense turret or stun an enemy for several seconds after he or she has accumulated enough overall points. However, many of these items need to be unlocked when a player levels up, which occurs as the players gain popularity. You can gain popularity and fans by doing well in a game, as well as helping your team grab the victory. Also recalling that this game is a free-to-play game, a player can choose to spend their own personal money and purchase higher tier weapons, but that player must be of the appropriate level before the use of that weapon can occur. This game is purely multiplayer and currently has two separate match types, those being Team Deathmatch and Dominion. While Team Deathmatch is pretty standard to many FPS games, Dominion hinges on the idea of attack and defense of several objectives. In this game mode, two objectives are positioned in the center of the map, and each team will be given a chance to attack and defend these objectives in two separate rounds. These objectives are captured by simply standing within the radius of the capture point for a certain period of time, after which the point becomes disabled. Every time a team captures an objective, they receive a point, and after 2 rounds, the team with the most points is declared the victor. Alright, we're now going to get into some of the positive aspects of this game, and the first thing that I have to say is that I really enjoyed the absolutely stunning UI. It's very similar to the Animus menus in Assassin's Creed. This UI eloquently and professionally allows a player to interact with their character, and feels better than vigorously relieving ourselves in a rich person's gigantic washroom. With many free-to-play FPS games, it is immediately clear that many do not spend an extensive amount of time developing their user interfaces, but this company included this interface as if it was part of the actual time period, allowing players to feel as if they were constantly playing the game even when they actually weren't. The next great thing that I really enjoyed about this game was the overall feel of the combat. This game manages to put a heavier focus on the actual skill and strategy of a player rather than having them find a nice place to camp in a corner. In many ways, this game reminded me of the old Counter-Strike games, which relied heavily on the skill of the player, with the health bar that doesn't actually regenerate every engagement with the opponent actually changes the strategy for that player. While having a higher health bar, a player can choose to attempt more risky and aggressive attacks on objectives, but those players at a lower health level play the game more stealthily, and attempting to pounce behind their opponent rather than running headfirst into the fray. Another combat mechanic that I immensely enjoyed was the reload timing, which requires a player to press the appropriate button at the specific time in order to enable a standard reload, and when you missed it or messed up, this would severely delay the reload time. This was a vastly entertaining mechanic because while hitting the timing was easily done and when you were outside of combat, managing to get those perfect reloads during combat was fairly difficult and incredibly painful, especially with an enemy riding up on your butt. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the negative aspects of the game. And though I really did enjoy the combat of the game, I found much of the gameplay audio to be either overwhelming or foolish. There's barely any distinction between a gun being fired directly beside you or a weapon being unloaded several rooms down, which dramatically hinders the gameplay due to the confusing aspect of the location of the combat. It becomes very difficult to predict where your teammates are engaging in battle, and also annoys players who spend a lot of money buying expensive gaming headsets so they can be better than everyone else. Essentially me. Another annoying aspect of the game is the background commentary that goes behind the game. Now, the game is meant to be viewed as a sports matchup, so you will be constantly hearing live commentary during the game. Another game that does this is Super Monday Night Combat, and they did an absolutely great job at adding hilarity to the actual gameplay, as well as providing useful information on your fellow teammates when they were going down. The commentary in this game, however, is neither funny nor informative, as it appears to be very personalized to your player. Whenever you die or fail horribly, you will hear an annoying voice in the background say, "Ouch, that's gotta hurt!" or something of the like, and all this manages to do is grate the nerves of the player as he or she tries to recover from that failure. It also doesn't help that there is random intermittent commentary that simply doesn't provide any information or add any comical value to the gameplay. If they want to improve this aspect of the game, they must definitely focus on more team-based commentary, providing information on the location of certain combat locations or the imminent capture of objectives. Or, at least tell some decent freaking jokes. However, in the end, I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed Bullet Run. The game appears to be much more than your standard free-to-play FPS, and actually provides some interesting maps and combat mechanics that manage to keep me playing for many hours on end. Overall, I'd rate this game approximately 8 out of 10, so if you get the chance, go out and download this game, especially if you're interested in trying out a new challenging FPS. Anyways, that's it for me. My name is Danish Buns, and thank you for watching this episode of A Noob's Review. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below, or send me an email at camelsilo@gmail.com. Also, feel free to check out my Twitter page at Danish Buns if you're interested on hearing any more information on other gaming news, or want to depress yourself by reading some of the worst puns written in this generation. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.